Okay.
And we're going to do our sound check to make sure everybody can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could have done this earlier this week, but why not wait till we're on air and it's the last minute?
Yeah, just last minute.
Very last minute.
Discord,
Double sound.
and Discord doesn't work, and then yeah.
Okay. Can you only hear me now? Hear one sound? One me?
I can hear you. Yep, only you.
Alright. Waiting for just one crimson. Okay, and you can hear Darren.
Okie doke.
Yay! Good morning, everybody. Good morning. The very first panel of TogetherCon 2024. If you have no idea what this is our annual Discord convention we started during COVID because we wanted to see people. And then after COVID, we realized that we're all broke. So we're just going to keep doing this every year because we can't afford to travel and go to actual cons. So here we are. But we're going to start with Coffee with Crimson. Is a talk show that I do, and we just sit and we talk about stuff, and I'm going to throw out all the trigger warnings just because it's a very open conversation. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about life. So shit will happen. So if you have questions, you can feel free to ask them in chat, and I will do my best, but you know, we always get carried away. So, and this is Darren.
Hi.
My beautiful bald bastard. A lot of people would know him as Filling in the Gap, and I did a shout out, and he is a Twitch streamer that I met through Penance RPG, who I met through Cass. I don't know how I met Cass, but that's fine. And I have to admit, but both Darren and Penance hang out with some of the best people, so please follow them. And, oh my god, it's Hallie! Hallie! Hi! I want all the baby pictures! Okay. Hallosaurus is one of our members, and she just had a beautiful baby boy.
Nice. Congratulations.
His name is Arthur. I'm going to get him a sword.
Yes, of course, you have to.
You have to, right?
You wouldn't be a good aunt if you didn't do that.
Exactly. Swords, some D&D dice and everything.
Yep.
So... Hi. It's weird
Hi.
to talk to somebody, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's because I always just catch you streaming, you're playing games, and you're getting all the jump scares and stuff. And this is different one-on-one to actually have a conversation. It's nice.
Yeah, well, thanks to you, I look like a fucking pussy because you played Outlast, and I did not play Outlast. So now I have to play Outlast because I thought you were the scaredy bitch baby in this relationship.
Oh, I am. I'm still the scaredy bitch baby, but I don't know why Outlast didn't scare me. I think it's because it's just too over the top in your face, trying to like constantly jump scare you, so you get kind of immune.
Oh, I do not. I don't get over jump scares. So Outlast Trials, which is the multiplayer version, we've been playing for almost a year. Came out on my birthday last year. So I don't get scared as much, but it never... I did play 10 minutes of Outlast. It took 1 hour for me to play that 10 minutes, but I did it.
Just crawling around corners?
Basically. Just, I made it in.
Yep.
And no, I spelled that wrong. I made it into the building, and I made it into the first hallway, and that was it. There is a clip of me throwing my mouse because I got jump scared.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
By a jump scare I knew was coming.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. Yeah. I've been playing Mortuary Assistant going, this guy's going to jump me, he's going to jump me, and then I'm edging towards them, and then they blah, and I'm like falling out of my chair, and I knew it was coming.
You're like, and I peed myself. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You're very entertaining to watch play horror games, though. I guess that's the reason, is everybody wants to see us scared.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess people get off on watching other people suffer.
So well, you also
that's
rant.
exactly what they did to me. I rage a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
rage and
go in,
rants.
you go into rages and rants, and that seems to entertain your chat greatly.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's good. I mean, I've been doing it for 2 years now, and I got into streaming because I wanted to meet. I live in Korea as well, so I live in South Korea, and I wanted just to meet. I just wanted to like hang out and talk shit with people, and because everyone in Korea is so like I can't joke around with people in Korea and say like, oh, you dickhead, and I don't mean it, but they're like, oh, well, you just insulted me, that's terrible. But so I like having that kind of like fun with each other. So it's like I just like okay, I'll try streaming, and yeah, I mean, not I don't have many followers, a few
Oh
hundred,
my
but
god. Oh
yeah.
my god. I go into your streams. And you're streaming morning for me, and I go into your streams, and you'll have 20, 30 people watching you. And then
Uh,
and then you're like, I'm such a terrible streamer. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm lucky if I have 10.
yeah, well, yeah, 30. That's maybe after a raid, but they all disappear soon after that. But yeah, 10 to 15 is where I'm at now, and that's great. Like I think I read somewhere from a lot of famous streamers, they all the thing that they all want is they all want to go back to that stage, of
Yeah.
their streaming careers where they've got that really intimate audience and that like kind of connection. Because you go into like I don't know like Penguin Zero or whatever, Moist Critical Chat, and it's like there's 5K people, and the text screen on the side is just like looks like the Matrix.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just a completely different dynamic and weird.
Yeah. My husband likes to watch The Sidemen, which is
Well,
a
okay. Oh, yeah, I've got a
which is
friend who likes that
a
too.
British group,
Yeah.
and he like he'll put on like Simon's like YouTube video of his Twitch stream, and like we'll be watching the chat, and it's just flying,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I'm like I don't, but like I wouldn't know what to do. Like I love knowing that love knowing that Ash is like waiting to get into her new apartment, and that somebody just got a job, and like all of that stuff, and you can't know those things when you've got like 5,000 people trying to talk to you at the same time.
Yeah. It's just a different dynamic, isn't it? It's like I'm in it because I want to talk to you guys and I want you guys to talk to me. And for them, it's just like, well, you're here watching. It's just a different thing, isn't it? It's just a different whole environment, atmosphere kind of thing. Nothing against it. It's just, but I can see why they miss those days, like of when they could just hang
When
out
it
and
was
shoot the
yeah,
shit.
when it was a community, because at some point it becomes a cult. It's just a cult.
Yeah. Because even
So
those people in that chat, they can't even talk with each other, like
no.
because the chat is flying. So
Critical
it's
Role's another one. Like we'll watch. Like my husband loves Critical Role, and he'll watch it. And like you can't talk. You
no,
can't.
it's just basically a whole ocean of fish swimming, and someone puts their hand up and tries to say something, and maybe someone. That's the problem is maybe someone in that group has got something really funny or really interesting to say, but it's just thrown into the ether and lost.
Yeah, 100%. So what? Okay, so you have lived so many places in your life.
Yeah, a few.
You were
Uh,
not. You weren't born in Scotland, right?
no, I was born in Scotland, but then I left when I was about 6 or 7, and then I went to Saudi Arabia, and I stayed there for. So I'm an old man now, so I get the timeline kind of mixed up, but I think I was in Saudi Arabia until 1987, 88, and then I moved to Oman, um, and then after Oman I went back to Scotland, and then after Scotland I went to work in Italy, and then I went back to Scotland, and then I came to Korea.
Why Korea?
Because I think I've told you this in your stream before, because it was
Uh-huh.
and here's where things are going to get spicy. It's basically because it's the furthest I could get away from my mother.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, 100% get
so
that.
I know you hear me on that.
Yeah,
Or,
100%.
yeah.
I just had a talk with mine this past week, and me and my therapist have worked on the business relationship that I am putting forth and the lack of emotional connection. So it cannot affect me, but I have to keep that there because I am a glutton for punishment. I'm a glutton for punishment at this point.
It's. I mean, I know we've shared war stories and stuff like that on like when you've been streaming and things like that, and yeah, I know. I don't know exactly what you've gone through, but I know, yeah, we've both got the same kind of scars, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, no, you have physical scars.
I have real ones, yeah. But the thing is, I laugh about it now, you know, and it's like it's a long time ago. I've got over it, but um, I'm still working really, really hard to forgive. Like I still can't. I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it, and it's so hard because, um, yeah, I feel like I'm totally through it. Like we talk on your stream. I'm very open about that kind of stuff. My wife knows. Everyone knows, but yeah, it's just like that's the next stage is forgiveness. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. I don't know if I can because it's just something that's stuck in my brain.
And you don't. The thing is, like, and I talk to my therapist about this a lot. Is that you don't have to forgive. Like the one thing, like I walked into therapy and I was like, oh, I can't get to that forgiveness stage. And she was like, well, you don't have to forgive anybody, but you have to let it go eventually and not let it rule your life. But she was like, yeah, you don't need to forgive people for being shitty to you and being awful. She was like, that happened. Just, just don't let it control everything. So I was like, fuck it. I ain't forgiving anybody. Take that shit to my grave.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that's it, that's true. Exactly. I agree with what your therapist said there. It's yeah, you don't have to, but you have to let it go, if not only for yourself, just to stop putting yourself through the grinder all the time,
And our kids, we have to let it go for them too.
Yeah. But yeah, I've left all that shit behind me now. But I still think about it. It's still, sometimes, but I don't dwell on it. I don't dwell on it, and I just pray that I never become that person. But I think I'm safe. I think I'm clear.
Yeah. So, so we both have. So I'm sure are you in therapy?
No, I never have been either.
Is Korea even have therapy?
No. Korea is it's only just changing like recently, but Korea is very stiff upper lip. You can't admit to that. There's no such. You don't get time off. You can't go to your boss and say, "Look, I'm depressed," or something like that. Even your doctor, you don't even go to your doctor and get meds for anything because it reflects badly on your family and your boss and things like that. It's really, really tough, which is why everyone in Korea does this. This is your medication. And if you look it up, Korea has one of the highest suicide rates in the OECD. It has one of the highest rates of alcoholism in the world. And it's for a reason, and that's the reason. But it's slowly coming around. In fact, just the other day, I just found out I've got a kid with actually diagnosed with ADHD in my class. Nice. Like certified. He's got a doctor. He's got medication and stuff like that. It's like, wow, I've never seen that in Korea. Never. That's the first one. And he's in second grade. And that's the funny thing is because I've gotten really zero experience with that kind of stuff in class. I mean, I probably have in the past, but I've just never known about it. And this kid is so sweet and so awesome, and I would never have pegged him for that. Yeah, I would never have said, oh yeah, he's got ADHD, but it's probably because he's medicated. He's probably been, so he's just really chill. But yeah, but that's a step in the right direction, I think, for Korea. Like they're actually acknowledging things and actually taking kind of like a step to do something about it, and not just sweep it under the rug and just say, oh, tell him to calm down. Put him to the back of the class and tell him to calm down.
Yeah, that's impressive, especially since you and I have talked. I listen to an obsessive amount of Korean pop music, and one of the artists that I listened to, I didn't until after I didn't know until like started listening to him until after he had passed. Moonbin had lost his fight with depression,
Right.
and then recently one of my favorites, Shiny,
Mm-hmm.
who is a longtime band.
That's old school as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they're one of the first. The their one member. Shut up, Solid. Their one member. Yes, we all know I listen to K-pop. Their one member. Their fans begged for him to take a hiatus because he had dropped so like, and if you look at the videos, it's a significant amount of weight, and he
Right.
was very skinny, and he just came back. He took a break, and he came back, and it's it's wonderful that we can see that progression,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, like, from a lot like Japan and China and a lot of like the Asian countries, it suck it up, buttercup, and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. Exactly.
so I'm happy to see that that's finally becoming a thing. I hope that eventually you can get therapy. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, even recently with with the things like suicides of like really high profile people in Korea as well, like the actor from Parasite, who had like that investigation and like just dead. It's crazy how like how far pushed people will go to do something like that. I mean, I've always seen life as me winning some kind of cosmic lottery. I'm not religious, so I know when I die, I'm getting put into the ground and that's it. So it's like I want to just live my life to the best and be kind and teach my kids to be kind and teach my students to be kind and to do the best for in their lives. It's like so to be that far. I mean, I can't even put myself in that mindset to be that far kind of pushed that you're like, fuck it, I'm done. That's so horribly sad to me.
Yeah. And if you don't have that support system, because thankfully all of us have support in some way, shape, or
Mm.
form, and it's like, you know what, this is a terrible day. It's a terrible day, the worst day of your life. You have no idea why your brain's doing brain things. And we have
Yeah.
people who are like, you know what, you're amazing, you're wonderful, life sucks, your brain's terrible. We'll get through
Mm.
this. And we are so lucky to have that. And especially since we didn't have that growing up.
No, no internet. Um, just for me, it was my dog, my dad, my dad basically saved my life, more or less. Um, but yeah, and my friends, and that's why I like hanging out with people. I like talking to people. Is because yeah, just having people that you can. I don't know if I don't remember really spilling the beans with all my friends though, but what I did was I used them as refuge. So every weekend I would just stay over at a friend's house, So I can imagine now their parents is like, "Fucking hell, is Darren staying over here again?" That's like the fourth weekend in a row, and it's like because I was escaping my house. It was the only time that I could get out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, my dad, yeah, he's uh he's a fucking awesome dude, awesome guy.
And are your parents still married?
Yes, they are. My dad's one of these like till fucking death do us part. And this is the part where the kind of the forgiveness thing comes in. It's like because my mom is trying to be a better person, and yeah, but it's like, but in my mind, it's like she's faking it because my mother's really manipulative. She's really, really like
Narcissistic?
she's yeah, terribly, terribly. And so my dad is 75, and my mom knows that maybe he's not going to be there, and who's going to take care of her because she needs a carer basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like yeah, she's just like playing the long game, it's the long con now. And that's what so that's in my head. It's like, Darren, you're an asshole. Stop thinking like that. Um,
Oh,
like
God, no.
Like you're just. But then the other part of my brain is like, yeah, but think about the 30 years prior to that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just
It's very difficult because we always say the things like "fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me," but
yeah.
like when it comes to like your family, which is ingrained into us, like family is everything, and
Hmm.
then you get older and it's just like I've had moments where I was like, oh my god, she's being really nice, this is amazing, and then like I'll
Right.
say something and it triggers whatever psychosis is in there.
Oh yeah, you
um
just see this dark cloud come over their face. It's just like it's like someone's just pulled a mask off of them. It's so weird. You have to be there to see it. It's the weirdest thing.
uh Say hi to Skip.
Hello, Skip. How are you doing?
I hope. Let me know if that's better volume, Skip. Thank you so much.
Hello, hello.
Um,
I put something in the Discord just to tell my people I'm here as well. Get some more people in.
Yay, yay, people.
Yay,
Um,
people.
so I'm gonna ask you about the story.
Yeah,
You got stabbed.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, my mother is very kind of a little bit handy back in the days. Me with a pair of scissors, and my dad, she stabbed my father in his sleep. Like just woke up in the middle of the night and went downstairs, got a knife out the kitchen, and decided to stab him through the not through the sheets. I mean, she hit him right in the ass.
Oh,
But it could have been anywhere, you know. I mean, it could have been absolutely anywhere. But yeah, me too. And yeah, this was when we were in the Middle East in Oman. Um, and again, like part of me is like, oh, it's okay, you know, like now. But again, it's like, no, it's not okay. It's like it's not okay. And um, it's just hard to, excuse me, it's hard to process even now. Like that's absolutely bizarre. It's like, I may forget things, but I don't forgive them. That's the problem. So it's like I forget about them and then everything's okay, but then I remember them and then things come back, you know? Um, but yeah. Yeah, I was 15 years old and she came into my room with a pair of scissors. Yeah. And
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's the chaotic duality of things because I know I don't know your parents, but I
No.
know with my parents, there is a lot of generational trauma.
Yeah.
There is,
Oh
like
yeah, definitely with my mom.
I was born in the 80s, so mental health wasn't a thing. My dad was a Vietnam vet, alcoholic, mom's
Mhm.
codependent narcissist. So I am an intelligent, well educated person when it comes to everything but mental health because this is my obsession. So I
Mhm.
understand that ABCD led to who they became as people.
Right.
And that's the duality of, like, that's the problem because like I'm like, oh yeah, well they went through this and like they were raised during these times, and like I had an Irish Catholic grandmother who like knocked my dad out with a cast iron frying pan once for knocking his father out. It was a long story.
Jeez. Okay. A
They
cast
were,
iron to the head. That's
yeah. Oh yeah, she was tiny too. She was just my father and his father were boxing in the basement, and he knocked him out,
hmm
and he thought it was funny, and came up and came upstairs, and he said to his mom, like, I knocked his ass out. And so she's like, you think that's funny? And she grabbed
oh,
Crash and frying pan and upside the head and knocked him out. So
that's insane.
yeah, so growing up, we're all like, haha, that's really funny. As a full grown
Yeah.
adult, I was like, that's mental.
You could have murdered him. Yeah.
He was 16 years old and obviously a moron. You could have killed. Like, that could be the permanent damage that led to everything else. But, so, like, I recognize that there is a situation that, or situations that occurred that brought them to that point. But at the same time, like, we didn't choose to be born. Their
Mm.
whole job is to protect us, to love and protect us, and they fucked it up. Like the most
Yeah.
basic job.
Something that
And
should come natural, yeah. But
yeah, like,
I mean, that's the thing. Is like what you're saying is that you're a product of your environment. It's like so. So then, I mean, I hope I think I'm pretty based, and you are too. It's like so. How did we flip the coin? It's like how did we? What happened differently? Is it just because of the time that we grew up in? Is that maybe what it is? But my mother, she was like, I mean, she was obviously an alcoholic as well. But yeah, like the whole she had this thing with knives, and she would hide them. We'd find them in pillowcases and shit like that under her bed. She would stash knives around her bedroom because I don't know. I mean, maybe she thought people were coming to get her. I've got no idea what was going on. Like, so it's like, so that part of my mind is like, well, she didn't know what she was doing, but I, but other part of my mind says, no, man, I think she totally knew what she was doing. And
like
like,
obviously
I
there's
just,
something else wrong there.
yeah,
People don't
yeah,
just stash knives.
no, no. Yeah, it was so weird, but that was it. I mean, that's why I basically I got out of the house because on the weekends that was when bad things happened on the weekends because my mom and dad both work in they're both medical people as well, so um the only reason because when the thing happened to me, my dad was the one that stitched me up. And so but when it happened to my dad, he actually had to go into the hospital because he couldn't stitch his own ass. And they were gonna arrest my mother, but my dad was just like, because he knew the surgeon, he's just like, let's just keep this between us. Because the surgeon knew. He's like, I know exactly what this is, you know? It's
You
just
didn't
crazy.
fall ass down on a knife. That's not
Yeah.
how that worked.
Yeah. Unless that happened. Yeah. But yeah, she's lucky that because the doctor, it's on him to actually call the police. They can press charges for you. But my dad kind of begged him, like, don't do it. But yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know why. But the one thing that sorry, I'm really going off tangent here. Like,
Go ahead.
but the one thing that I remember is when I was I think I was 3 or 4 years old, and my dad was leaving, and he had a suitcase, and my parents had a huge fight, which is par for the course at that time. And I remember holding my dad's leg, begging him to stay, and crying, and he stayed. And that kind of like that in my brain, I'm thinking like, shit, why didn't I just let him go? Like maybe he would be so much happier, my life could be totally different, like if unhappy people together in a marriage is not good. That was probably the best thing for them. Was to separate. But I was the asshole, the 4-year-old asshole that kept them together.
You're not an asshole. You didn't know. And
You
like,
know,
also, you don't know what would have happened to you at that point.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, because in Scotland in the 80s, the mom always got custody. Usually, it was always the woman always gets custody.
yeah. So,
Usually,
without
always.
without your dad as a buffer, it could have been so much worse,
It might have been. Yeah,
which is which is terrifying.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I'm gonna ask a weird question because this gets stuck in my head a lot.
Okay.
Do you ever resent the people who knew and did nothing? Like that
Like in
doctor
my
that's
family, you mean? Like my
well,
like my grandmother and people like that?
anybody
Because
who knew what was going on.
um, I don't think so because again, I come from that kind of, I guess that I don't know if it's a Scottish upbringing or maybe like a 1970s, 80s upbringing, but it's just like no, it's just like that's your shit. You deal with it. You get on with it. You wipe. you wipe the shit off your face and you get on with it. I never thought it was anyone else's fault or problem. I never. Yeah, my grandmother tried to intervene a few times and help, but eventually she just gave up because there's no like there's no convincing someone that's like a narcissist and an alcoholic to boot. You just you can't reason with that with those kinds of people.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And you will go, and believe me, I have, and I'm sure you have as well. You will go crazy trying to build logical arguments against those people, even if you're trying to be nice about it and to help them. When you're just met with a stone wall of denial and just like, no, no, you're wrong. How dare you say that to me? There's nothing wrong with me. It's you. Like,
You're the problem.
oh, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? So it's like, yeah.
So my I know the medical field is a lot different here than it is literally fucking anywhere else in the world, because fuck us. But
Oh, yeah.
I take my mom to see my primary care physician.
Mhm.
Okay, and I had been seeing she's a lovely black lady. I adore her to no end. She is wonderful. She is amazing. And I was like, okay, you're amazing. And so I was like, I'm gonna bring my mom. I make everybody go see her, honestly. So I bring my mom to her, and this is right at the point where she started giving me medication for anxiety, and she was like, if you want to take more medication, you're gonna have to see a psychiatrist. Somebody's gonna have to prescribe you. I can't do it. And so we had talked about it, and then she meets my mom. I take my mom in for an appointment, and the next time I go to see her, she goes, I get it. I get it. And then she says to me, have you ever told or considered telling your mom how much anxiety and stress she gives you?
Mm.
And I, without a thought, I started laughing like a
I was just gonna
mad
say that. I would have
person.
laughed as well.
Laughed my ass off. And I was like, no, I could never do
Are you
that.
nuts?
And she's like, why? I was like, I'm going to tell you how this conversation is going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell her that she is one of the big sources of my anxiety,
Yeah.
and stress. And she's going to say, well, excuse me for living. I'm so sorry. I'll leave you and your family alone and just go die by myself.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I repeated this to my husband, and we've
Hmm.
been together almost 20 years. And he goes, yeah, that's exactly what your mom would say. So it's not like, so it's bad that my husband's like, oh, yeah, those words would definitely come out of your mother's mouth.
Hmm.
But it cracks me up when, like, people who come from somewhat normal backgrounds, I guess, or, loving, accepting families or something, are like, why don't you just have a conversation with her? And you're like, bitch, I can't even, like, mention the weather some days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't even be like, have you cleaned your house? Like, well, have you seen yours?
Yeah. No, yeah, so it's such a cute comment, is it? Yeah, just talk to her. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
would you
I
like
didn't
to
think
have a
of that one.
conversation with
That never
Satan?
crossed my mind.
Yeah, like, I'm
In
just gonna walk into hell and I would rather have a conversation with Satan himself.
yeah, in 47 years, that never crossed my mind. Wow.
I tell people all the time, they're like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing group therapy. And I'm like, that's the worst idea that has ever. I did group therapy with my parents. A couple. They forced me into therapy, and I wanted to be like I'm the problem. And
Right.
and so when people are like, yeah, group therapy sounds like a great idea, I'm like, no, it's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
Group therapy with your family, group therapy with other people who need therapy. No, don't do that to yourself or other people. Take
yeah,
it from me. Just hit your head against the wall. Just,
yeah. Because so so why was it then? Because I'm imagining it's like everyone's like the most important person in that room, so everyone wants to be heard first or over everybody. Is that the issue? Is that the problem with group therapy?
it's a lot of that. So with my parents, it was this, like, they spent the entire time just blaming me for everything that was wrong and pointing and yelling and screaming. So that was great for my self-esteem and my mental health.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and the group therapies that I had been in, because I was in mental hospital. I was in mental hospital for about like a week or two. I don't remember anymore. And I was in several group situations. I had like a day clinic thing that I would go to, and group therapy is like there's one person, and they're like maybe two if you're lucky, trained people in that room, and then there's a shit ton of like people your age. And at the time I was a teenager, so you've got a room full of teenagers
Oh God.
and one, maybe two adults who have no control over the situation. And they so you're basically sitting there and you're around a bunch of people who are in similar situations. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, this is what happened to me. And
Mm-hmm.
then they would be like, well, what does the group think about this? So you're asking other mentally ill people in the same situation, no training whatsoever, what they think about my trauma.
Right.
No, thank you.
I see the
No, thank
problem.
you. No, thank you.
No.
It's a terrible situation. They have no idea. I don't know. I don't have any idea how to comment. Like, even if it were the same, even if it were the same thing, even if for some reason I had also been stabbed, I can't comment on your experience. We weren't stabbed by the same person for the same reason.
Right. Yeah.
So like, how? How can you comment on that? And then you're a teenager at boot, so you are the most important person in the
Oh
room.
yeah. Yeah.
You have ranging hormones and trauma and medication if you're lucky. No.
Mhm.
No. That is
Penance saying, yep. There we
of
go.
course.
Yeah,
Everybody
it
who's
kind of
been
fucks with your head.
stabbed by somebody they care about, raise your hand in chat. I've stabbed
Um,
myself by accident. Does that does that
uh,
count?
yeah, yeah.
God. No, the she did hit me in the head with a hammer though. That was
Oof.
fun. Yeah, after she
Yeah.
she nailed my window shut.
Why?
Because my bedroom, okay,
Were you
so
sneaking out?
yes, all the time.
Uh,
Didn't want to be there ever. I ran away so many times.
yeah.
And the cops kept bringing me back. And at some point I wanted to be like, do you think maybe, just maybe, police officer, there's a reason I keep leaving? Maybe?
Yeah.
Um, but like, so the house that I grew up in was a tack house for a stable. So it is tiny. So when
Hmm.
people are like, oh, I'd love to get a tiny home, and I'm like, bitch, you would know.
No.
One person that's mentally ill and unmedicated in that room, oh no, no, that's the
Yeah.
worst thing. And especially since sometimes, as I told you before stream, no, I was telling somebody else before stream, I don't want to know that people are breathing because
Mm.
menopause.
Right.
So that would be worse. So we grew up in a tiny, tiny house, and my bedroom was on the first floor, and I fucked off constantly.
Hmm.
And so they were like, so eventually she got pissed off, she got fed up or whatever. She nailed my window shut.
That's useful in a fire.
Yeah, and then hit me in the head with a hammer. It was great.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's fun. She just came in and hit me in the head with a hammer, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding?"
Bonk. Wow. She's been
What the?
watching some Korean action movies.
Yeah,
They love their hammers in Korean action movies.
yeah. Apparently, I mean, because we all watch black and white kung fu classes on Sundays, and there was no hammers there, so it couldn't have been that. But yeah, that was like her response to the whole situation. The funny thing is, My bedroom was on the first floor. There was the second floor was their bedroom and the bathroom. There's 2 rooms. A tiny
Right.
house. So I would just go out the front door
Mm.
then. Hammered my window shut and I was like, okay. So I left through the front door.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
Yeah. I was like, you're an idiot. As I get older, I realize that I'm correct. She is an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. It's like you get older and then you get wiser and you get, yeah, I don't know. Like the whole just circling back round to the whole kind of forgiveness thing as well. It's just like, yeah, it's like I can't be responsible for your actions. You're dumb, you're evil, and that's it. Like I can't try and rationalize that. Like why? Because for the longest time you're like, why is it me? Is it me? What have I done? But then eventually you get old enough and you realize, fuck, no, it's not me. It's you. I
Mm-hmm.
was I was being duped all along.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels good now, and this is the kind of the hopeful message part, I guess, is that like when you do, because there'll be people, I don't know, there'll be people maybe watching this who are in that dark hole that we've both been in. But when you, and I can't tell you how to do it, and you can't tell anyone how to do it either, but when it comes, if it comes, it's fucking liberating and it's so
Oh,
good
it's
to
beautiful.
punch through to the other side.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to sit back and be like, you know what? It's not this. None of this is my fault. But I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it
Yeah.
because
The problem is
that's
getting there. The
yeah.
problem is getting,
Getting to that point, it's hard. Because you have to and like I'm 42 now. I'm gonna be 43 in a couple weeks, and I still occasionally like battle with it. Like, and it's not that I'm well past the what did I do wrong because I was a child and didn't do anything fucking wrong. I just wanted what children want. So sometimes I battle with the well it like maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And
oh yeah.
my therapist is like, I will come to your house and slap you. Like,
Yeah, no, I do that. I do that all the time. Yeah, maybe I'm just like maybe it's not that bad. Yeah, no, no,
no,
no, no, no. Shut up, Darren. Shut up.
it wasn't that bad. And the next thing out of your mouth should be, I got stabbed.
Yeah, with a pair of scissors. Yeah, scissors is of all things. Scissors.
That's a like that is the
What?
biggest fuck you of being stabbed. Like it's like that, and then like maybe like a grapefruit spoon or something like is the worst thing I can imagine being stabbed with.
Yeah. No, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, but no, but they look like what Phoenix Nymphy's saying there. She's in the dark hole right now. Try not to get sucked in. It's like, yeah, you got to
Yeah,
keep fighting it.
yeah,
You have to surround yourself with good people. Basically, that's it. Just don't surround yourself with assholes. Surround yourself with good people that care about you and that you care about too. Um, it's
and don't oh god, don't fall into what ifs. Don't
yeah,
that is a huge downfall for me sometimes.
yeah,
What if this had happened instead? It doesn't matter because it didn't. That's not how it happened.
yeah, yeah.
So it like what if I had said something differently?
Mm,
What if I
yeah.
had done something differently? What if this person had reported my parents? Those
Mm,
things lead you nowhere. They backpedal you. They make things worse. And it's not easy to accept it, but don't go backwards. Don't ever go
no,
backwards.
no, no. And I do this all the time with it's like a kind of mental exercise that I have with my daughter and my wife as well, is that, you know, when I start getting into the what ifs, but it always brings me back, well, then maybe I wouldn't have come to Korea and I wouldn't have met you and I wouldn't have got married and I wouldn't have Chloe, and
Mm-hmm.
like and then I wouldn't be happy. So it's like even if we could go back, even if we could go back in time and change things and make what if a reality, why would it be any better? anyway in the first place?
So I this is actually really funny. I was on a talk show. I was on a talk show, and they like asked like a whole bunch of like random questions, and it was really fun because it was just, as I said, it was just random, and like I everything was a goofy answer, and they're like, if you could go back in time and change one thing, what would you change and why? And I
Mm,
said, I actually have an answer for this because my
mm.
answer is nothing. I
Mine
would
too.
change nothing. I have a beautiful, smart, sweet daughter. I have an
Hmm.
amazing husband. I have the best friends and support system. I help people either by conversations or just, having an ear or something like that. I take what I went through and I use it in a positive way. So I wouldn't change anything. I have a maraca's worth of medication that I take every day,
Yeah.
and I drink far more coffee than I should because I don't want to drink anymore because I come from alcoholics.
Hmm.
Um, but I wouldn't change anything.
Right.
I wouldn't change any of it because
No.
we worked our asses off to get where we are.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's, I mean, even though it's a fun question, but it's like, yeah, and it sounds like it's so. I've said this to my wife before. It's like, no, I would come back, I would meet you again, I would do this all over again,
Yeah.
like, and it's not a cop out. It's not me trying to be sweet. It's not me trying to score brownie points. It's like, because no, because yeah, exactly like you said, it's been a fucking hell of a journey to get here, and I think that this is who I am. This is who I am, and so I'm okay with that,
Yeah.
and I'm happy with. I mean, I'm not happy with all the bullshit that happened in the
No.
past, but I mean, I'm happy that I'm here now. I'm happy I'm still alive. I'm happy. I mean, there's plenty of times where maybe I wouldn't have been. Um, yeah,
And
I'm.
you're an amazing staple for your community too. Because I come in and like I'm having a shit day. You pause the game, I'm like, all right, what's going on? Tell us
Yeah,
what's happening. And sometimes, man, that's all you need is somebody to be like, you
yeah,
know what, that fucking sucks.
yeah. But I mean, but it's true. But that's the thing. It's because it's not because I'm trying to be like a cool guy on Twitch because look at me. I'm definitely anything but a cool guy on Twitch. Actually, my face
I
looks like a
think
fucking
you're cool.
tomato right now. But it's like I genuinely care, and it's like because yeah, sometimes you just need that, and like you said, sometimes you need someone just to be like, because I'll never forget this. There was one of my friends, and this was years ago, and he said something to me, and it stuck with me, and it's a bullshit philosophy bit of advice, but it works for me, and he said he had a problem, and I was like, shut up, man. Just forget about it. It's okay, And he's like, every time I tell you I've got a problem, you always just say, don't worry about it, or like you tell me like some, like devil's advocate argument. He's like, all I want you to do, man, is just pat me on the back and say, yeah, that sucks, man. Like, I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I was like, fuck, I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole. People just need this kind of, even if it's a bit of bullshit, they need a kind ear for sometimes, sometimes they need a kick in the ass, but
Yeah.
sometimes they just want someone just to say, yeah, man, that's bullshit. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
I'm a fixer. I am 100% a fixer. And my husband, he said to me one day, he was like, I don't complain because all you do is try to fix it and you can't. And I'm like, fuck. So
Mm,
now I will, like, all right, let's like vent out. Let's talk about it. And then I ask the question, would you like me to help you?
hmm.
And if the answer is no, then I leave it alone because it's not my problem. It's all I'm here for is to help my partner whatever way I can. And
Right.
that's it. It's been about an hour, and we both drink a lot. So I'm gonna take a break so we can go pee,
Okay.
and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okie doke.
activated, I see.
How wonderful. Think of the possibilities.
Android, what is your primary function?
Still limited to your basic programming.
What's your personality? Come join in on games with me. Where's your favorite place to be? Hanging in the glees of 832C colony. Walking with my favorite androids. No one can tell me difference. No one can tell me difference. Being androids here makes everything seem so clear. Hey, what's your
Freshly activated, I see.
How wonderful. Think of the possibilities.
Android, what is your primary function?
Still limited to your basic programming.
Follow me. What's your personality? Come join in on games with me. Where's your favorite place to be? Hanging in the glees of 832C colony. Walking with my favorite androids. No one can tell me difference. No one can tell me difference. Being androids here makes everything seem so clear. Hey, what's your
Freshly activated, I see.
How wonderful. Think of the possibilities.
Android, what is your primary function?
Still limited to your basic programming.
follow me? What's your personality?
Melting. It's so hot in this house.
Yes, Darren is red because he's melting, not that he has a sunburn.
It's
So you're one of those people who gets red when you're hot. Let me guess, when you overexert yourself or you run around or something.
yeah. I've got a hypercolor skin, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband and my daughter both do that. It took me a very long time to stop panicking when she was little. She would come in,
Right.
beat red, and I'm like, oh God, what did you do?
Seriously, do you remember those T-shirts in the 80s, the hypercolor T-shirts where you could like put your handprint on someone on their back, and then you take it away, and it's like it would change color of the T-shirts?
No, we didn't have that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, hyper color shirts, absolutely brilliant. But I've got hyper color skin, so it's like if I put my fingers on my skin like that and I put enough pressure, it's like woo.
Oh yeah, mine does it too. But the thing is, you can barely tell because I am so pale already that like this is a tan. People are like, that
Right.
can't be a tan. I'm like, no, it is. This is what happens when I get sun. Hypercolor shirts.
Yeah. Let's bring them back. Let's bring them back.
Oh my god. We also need to bring back. Well, slap bracelets came back.
Slap bracelets were awesome. Yep.
They were they were great for beating the shit out of your friends because they hurt. I don't care what anybody says. It hurt.
Yeah.
So this is a great time. Like we're gonna keep talking, but this is, if anybody has any questions for Darren or I, now is a great time to ask them. As we have.
Have you sprayed your face today, Darren? Looks like you could do with it. I've got my bottle here. I've got my little face. Yeah, I'm definitely yeah, I'm overheating here. Um uh yeah, what were we just talking about before? We were talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh yeah,
Uh,
the just being like, yeah, just being there for someone, just saying, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, that's that. Just agreeing with someone and saying, yeah, that was wrong, even if you know that they're wrong. Even if you know it's like you kind of brought that on yourself.
yeah.
But all I need to hear is just like a positive, just like, ah, yeah, man, that guy's an asshole, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And sometimes
Um,
you have. That's sometimes just agreeing with people is what is all they need. Even if they're, I have said some shit that I knew was wrong. But I have
yeah,
friends that are like, "Oh yeah, she's a cunt," like, and then I come back and I'm like, "I was wrong," and they're like, "Yeah, you were."
yeah.
Thanks, bitches.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good friend. That's a good friend. Someone that's like, yeah, you're totally in the right. And then as soon as you realize, oh yeah, I was being a bit of a dick, you're like, yeah, you were.
Yeah, yeah, you're a bit of an asshole.
I mean, there's different levels of friendship, aren't there? There's like somewhere you'll be and I guess that's why you got different friends, different types of friends who you get different feedback from. You've got your friend who always agrees with you, but you've got the other person who will call out your bullshit, and it doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
You know, we need
And,
variety.
and that person can't be your spouse because they are wrong when they call out your
Oh
bullshit.
no, absolutely,
It doesn't
absolutely.
matter if you're wrong
Yeah,
or not.
yeah,
They are wrong for pointing it out.
yeah.
My husband's like, you're being a little bit of a bitch right now. I'm like, I didn't fucking ask your opinion. You come back and I was being a bit of a bitch. I know, and I told you. Yeah, well, you were wrong then. It's okay.
Yeah, you're wrong then, but you're right now. Okay.
But yeah, no, agreeing with people when they're wrong or they're having a bad day, calling out the bullshit is another one. Like, and that's something. So, I've had conversations with several people recently who are like, yeah, I'm turning 40 soon, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, you're gonna be so happy. People are like, oh, how can you be happy turning 40? And I'm like, because all of my fucks flew out that window. They're
Yeah.
all gone. I have shed most of the weight.
Yeah.
I have taken oh god, you know Rush. You obviously know Rush. The band
Yeah.
Rush.
Oh, the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Neil Peart,
the
legendary.
Tom Sawyer, you are who you surround
Uh,
yourself with. Like I took that to an extreme, and I was just like, I just cut so many people. I just stopped talking to them, and then I surrounded myself with the weirdest people who love me on my bad days, who will be like, you're being a bit of a bitch right now,
yeah.
who will get into a fight with me, and the next day going, yeah, we were wrong, or you were wrong, or I was wrong.
Mm,
That's what you need. And when you
yeah.
like, I think when you hit when you get older, like when you hit 40, you're like, I just don't care. about anybody's bullshit.
No, yeah, I've got a horrible thing to admit, but like back in the early 2000s, I was one of those militant atheist assholes. Um,
So you told everybody
and
why it was wrong to believe in anything?
yeah, I was probably unsufferable or sorry, insufferable. But I was one of those twats. And yeah, and then when you get to about, yeah, I'd say about 37, 38, 40, you're just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. I don't give a shit. You believe whatever you want. Like, I'm done. Um, but I'm
Like I
glad to have left that part of me behind because
yeah,
yeah.
it's it's very refreshing. It is so refreshing because like it's and I've talked about this several times where like once you hit like when you hit your 20s you're like I know everything. I know everything.
Oh
You hit
yeah.
your 30s and you're like maybe I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And you hit your 40s and you're like I don't know shit and I don't care.
I don't give a shit either.
I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Lily's constantly like, "Mom, why does this happen?" I'm like, "I don't know." Why is the sky blue? We have Google for that. Let's ask Google. I don't know
Yeah.
anything. Like you
Yeah.
want to know about D&D? I got you. You want to know how to, kick ass in Stardew Valley? I'm here for you. You want to talk about mental health? You ask anything else, and I have nothing for you.
Well, who was it? It was like Aristotle or one of those smart motherfuckers who was like, "Wisest is he knows nothing." That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know who said that, but it was one of those Greek
It was one of those
douchebags.
really famous people who had sex with everybody and went threw up after they ate food, and it was okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was oddly fascinated with vomitoriums for a very long time.
You're oddly
They
fascinated with what? Sorry, what did you say?
Vomitoriums is
Oh,
where they would go and like they would binge and throw up and then eat more. And I'm like, you do like
vomitorium. Yeah.
yeah, you do that then. It was cool. You do it now. You've got an eating disorder. I don't understand. I'm kidding. I shouldn't
But
make fun of. I shouldn't make jokes about eating disorder, but dark humor. That is fun.
I think that the vomitorium is just it just means exit. I don't know if they actually puked into it. I think it's just like an exit aisle. I'm pretty sure that's all it means.
Interest. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, I
I
mean
need to
maybe I
know.
could be wrong. Fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure
Can we
vomit
get a fact
means
check, Twitch?
to exit. And so the vomitorium was like the exit aisle out of like the Colosseum. Like it was
Huh.
I don't think it was for that like people to puke into. I think it was just like
See,
to vomit is to purge, to exit.
I don't know shit.
Is it is it true? Did you
I
fact
don't
check
know.
it? As someone...
Wait, vomitorium is a passage situated below or behind a tier of seats. Amphitheater, stadium. Yeah, you're right.
There you go.
There we
There you
go.
go.
I proved I'm 42 and I don't know shit. Or like this. Okay, so there is a joke. There's a huge joke in real money gaming, that about things that I know. Okay,
Right.
so I the way I grew up, I didn't have a reason to question things that people said. Excuse me. I wasn't encouraged to question things. I was encouraged to accept things as they are. So people would tell me something, and I'm like, okay, that's how that is. Now, sometimes I would call people out because my mom, I was having coffee in my apartment 20 years ago, and I was like, I was talking to her on the phone, and I was like, I ran out of sugar, so I put powdered sugar in my coffee, and she goes, "Don't do that. You'll get worms."
Oh, I've had the worms conversation too. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not how that works. And I'm like, they put powdered sugar like on things like
On
French
cakes.
toast and cakes to eat, right? And so it's been a slow process of unlearning things that I just accepted.
I wish I had a list of things that I believed as a kid. My grandmother told me, "Oh, you should eat the crusts of your bread because you'll get curly hair." Well, that didn't work out. Um, or
Drink your
yeah,
milk, you'll be tall. That's
don't
true.
don't eat sugar cubes. You'll get worms. Um,
Don't
yeah, it's
drink
just
milk when your stomach's upset. It'll curdle and
it'll
make your
curdle.
stomach
Yes.
worse. And I said that as a grown ass adult with my full chest. I said that to somebody, and they're like, "Your stomach is nothing but acid. Everything curdles when it hits your stomach." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
How do
Well,
you
I've got
respond to that?
yeah. I got a crazy story once when I was a kid and I was at a game, a football match with my dad, and at halftime they would sell these like like the superheated coffee. That it's I think it's illegal now, like to sell
Yeah.
that superheated coffee, but it wasn't back then. And so I got a cup of this like superheated Bovril. It's like a beef based drink in the UK. It's basically MSG in a cup. And
That sounds
uh
lovely.
yeah, Scotland, it's got to we've got to keep it unhealthy as fuck. And so I was going back to the stand and I fell over and I spilled this scalding hot Bovril all over my hand. And my dad, of course, was like, looked at his watch. He's like, "Can you make it home alone?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I went home. He watched the game, and I went home. And my grandmother said, and I'm no bullshit. She looked at my hand and it was scalded. Absolutely, the skin was peeling off and everything. And she's like, "Hold your hand up to the fire." Because we had a fireplace in the living room. Hold your hand up to the fire because the heat will suck the heat out of your hand. And so I did that for the next hour until my dad got home. My dad came home and he saw me with my hand against the fire crying. And he's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Bran told me to put my hand up to the fire because it gets rid of it'll bring down the burn." And my dad's just like, "What in the name of fuck is going on?" And like, ice. And so we iced it up. And yeah, just dumb shit like that. Like people, she believed it. Like, I don't think she was trying to actually injure me, but she did.
Oh yeah. So the big joke, big Real Women Limited gaming joke was a couple years ago. We had a conversation about pink eye, and growing up, I thought you got pink eye because this is what I was told. If you get ejaculate in your eye, and that's how you got it. So I'm sitting here I watch porn, and I'm like, how are like porn stars not like walking around with just like pink eye all the fucking time, like. And this is now, mind you, this happened during our charity events, and anything we do is not for anybody under the age of 18, because we are raising money to feed people, and we're talking about how you actually get pink eye. Like, that was the 12-hour conversation, and they were like, haha, I spoke of pink eye, and Kinky shows up, and Kinky was like, "That's not how you get pink eye." And the best part is, I had gone to the bathroom and I had wireless earbuds at the time. I go to the bathroom and I can hear Kinky going, "Psst, Belle, my husband." He goes, "Yeah, did you know that your wife thinks you get pink eye by getting cum in your eye?" And he was like, "No." So that comes up every year at TogetherCon. Every fucking year. Like, hey, remember that time when you thought you got pink eye by cum? Look, okay, a person told me once, and I just was like, okay, that's how that works. That's how that works.
As you do. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the thing is the best lies or the best kind of confusion things are things that sound believable, you know? Like one time one of my friends told me that the Bay City Rollers were actually stormtrooper extras in the 1977 Star Wars, and I believed that for I don't know 10 years. Like I'm not going
You
to
have
fact
no
check
reason
that.
not to. You have no
No, it's
reason
like
not to. It's so fucking random. You're like, obviously it
sense.
must be true.
It's like, yeah, that's got to be true, but that was a great lie. You go to bed.
Oh my god.
Sorry, my daughter's going to bed. I'm gonna give the hugs.
Oh, Chloe. Chloe is the best thing that Darren has done. Love Darren to death. Chloe is magical.
Yeah, she wants to say hi. Can she say hi?
Yeah, of course.
Come on, say hi. Hey.
Hi, Chloe. Oh my God, you got your hair cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like
My
the
mom
bangs?
got it for me today.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's great.
It looks great.
Just give me some of that. There we go. How do you think I look with hair?
Weird.
Nah, that's pretty weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it
pretty
is.
weird.
Night night.
Okay,
Go to
night-night.
bed.
Chloe is a beautiful artist.
Okay. Get to bed. It's 2:15 in the
Meowish-
morning. I'm a
Meowish
terrible
says
father.
she loves your hair.
Okay.
Yeah. Love the hair. Right. Get out of here.
Thank you. Okay,
Right.
bye guys.
Bye.
Um. So basic rollers in Star Wars, and Pink Eye is from
It's from poop.
yeah
It's from poop.
yeah
You
poop.
learn that.
Because that's why that's why kids have it, isn't it? Because it's a kid's thing, isn't it? It's like because they go to the toilet and they don't they don't wash their hands after they wipe their ass, and then they
Oh yeah. Or you have a dog fart in your face. Having a dog who puts her face constantly and her butthole constantly in my face, I'm like, this is how I get pink eye for the first time in my life. But no, like, so with randomly speaking of Star Wars, so I was like, oh yeah, like stormtroopers. The stormtroopers can't hit shit, you know? And my husband, who's a huge Star Wars fan, he goes, that's not how that works. And I was like, what? He goes, if you remember, they were told not to hit anybody. Like, don't kill them. And he was like, and that's why that's why the troopers, Starship Troopers, no, that's why
Starship
Stormtroopers
Troopers
miss a lot. And I was like, you've ruined a good joke.
I'd come in here with all your facts and shit and just
Don't
ruin my
fact check
fun.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, no, Chloe is the best, and they are adorable together. And I loved all the cat cafe pictures.
Oh yeah, we'll be going back after her test. She's got a test. Her midterms are next week, and so we'll be going back again after that. There'll be more pictures.
She has midterms?
She's in middle school now, so middle school first graders have midterms. So what's that? That's seventh grade then, I guess, equivalent in Korea. So from seventh grade, they start doing, it's not standardized tests, but it's school tests. And then there's only one standardized, it's like basically the Korean SAT that comes at the end of high school. That's the final big one.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
that's
she's
another
got
conversation we have a lot is about school because you are a
Yeah.
school teacher.
20 years in the bag. Yeah.
Why a school teacher?
Because I was a journalist and journalism fucking sucks. I basically started off as a journalist, as a radio station journalist, and I did it for a while, and then I moved into a newspaper, and they were the most backstabbing pieces of shit I've ever worked for in my life. I hated it, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to go freelance. So that's when I moved to Italy, because I was like, I'll go to Italy. I'll write about culture. You know, I was like, yeah, big dreams. I'm going to be the next Hunter S. Thompson. You know, I'm going to be smoking cigarettes and drinking cappuccinos in the Piazza San Marco. That's not how it ended up. And so I ended up going through a phone book going, oh shit, how can I make money? Because I'm making $100 a week here writing articles. And so I ended up finding an English teaching gig, and I realized, like, you know, it's like that's the kind of thing when you click and you're like, fuck, I've found my people. It's like I don't know, there's a thing where the people say follow your passion. It's like I like that, and it's kind of a platitude. It's follow what you're good at, you know, like find what you're good at and do that, and then you'll probably become passionate about that.
Yeah.
It's like
I like that.
I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at being in a crowd. And so I realized that in teaching, and you put me in a room, and it's no problem. But like even for some of my students, it's like, okay, we're doing a presentation. We've got students breaking down in class who are like terrified of standing in front of 5 people, and just talking for 1 minute. It's not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
And so I realized like, oh yeah, I'm not bad at this. I'm better at this than I am a journalist. And then and then and then I started to take and then I basically I went back to Scotland after that, and then I started looking into like t teaching more kind of stuff. So it's like ESL, where am I going to go? You said before, why Korea? And it's just because I applied for Korea, Japan, and China. And Japan was like, all right, yeah, we've got a position. We can maybe in a couple of months. China was like I mean, I'm talking mountains of paperwork, insane bureaucracy in China. And Korea was like, hey, can you start tomorrow? Well, we'll send you a ticket now. Get your ass out here. And so that they're really like they were really hungry for teachers in like the early 2000s. And so that was it. I came out here. I was like, I'll try it out. And then, I had a really good mentor. That was really important. I had a guy who was a professional teacher too. And so after a couple of years, I was like, no shit, I want to do this. So I took courses and I did stuff. I'm doing. I mean, I'm 47 now, but I started my master's a couple of years ago. So it's like it's never too late to do something like that. So it's like I'm doing a master's now. I'm probably going to be finished in about, I don't know, 6 to 9 months. Um, um, but it's like I love it. I love this job. I love it, and um, and I love it for so many different reasons. Like ask me anything about teaching, and I will definitely answer any questions you've got about it.
Well, and I love the fact that you're 100% there for your kids too, because we've talked about that previously. How you know Korea is very hard on their students, on their kids, and you would try and intervene where you could just to make sure they weren't getting hurt, or they weren't having like the worst day possible or breaking down,
Oh yeah.
because it's hard there.
Mm. Oh, you mean in Korea?
Yeah.
Again, the suicide rate is astronomical in Korea. Here's a fact, right? Just to blow everyone's mind in chat. Every day in Korea, about 35 people kill themselves every day in this country. That's a fucking crazy statistic. Um, and teen suicide. That there's kids, there's kids killing themselves over fucking high school tests, and I think that's an absolute fucking disgrace. It's like I I can't process that. It honestly makes me want to cry. Because like I said, I've got this belief that I've won this cosmic lottery, and I've got to this is my one chance at life. Let's go. I'm gonna do my best. And like for these kids who think their life is so over that they have to jump up of a fucking 24-story building because they failed a test, that's fucking terrible. I hate
Yeah.
that. I hate that. And
That
so
is insane. That is
it's
insanity.
it's terrible, and it should not happen. It should not happen at
No,
all. Like it's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable.
absolutely.
Um, and so I take my job seriously, but I also take other shit seriously, like bullying, and like my classes they're like trained like well. They come in, there's rules. It's all about mutual respect. It's all about expectations. Here's my expectations of you. What are your expectations of me? It's like it's a two-way kind of system that I run. Um, I want my students to know that I'm the boss, but I also want them to know that I'm their friend and that they can trust me. And over time, you build a rapport with your kids, um, and yeah, it's I'm still in contact. Like I'm getting invited to my first students' weddings now. That's like
Aw.
it's incredible. They still contact me. I still contact them, and yeah, it's great. They're all grown up. They're getting married. They're all doing successful jobs. It's awesome. It's great. I love it. I live for this. Like seriously, no bullshit. Like this is This is part of my, you reason to be.
Well, that's amazing. You must have been. I mean, obviously, you're a very important part of their lives, and they want to thank you for that. And that doesn't happen often. I can remember two, maybe three of my teachers, though, because of the PTSD, my memory is a little bit foggy before the age of like I don't know 20.
Right.
But it's those teachers that like really do it for like oh god, I was in a correctional school for a while. That was
Oh
fun.
God, really? Wow.
Yeah. I didn't do
That's a story.
anything. I didn't do anything
Come
when they
on,
were
don't.
being.
Oh, don't lie. I didn't do anything. It wasn't me.
I was found smoking on school grounds.
Okay, I did that all the time.
Uh-huh. The second time I went, because I went twice, the second time I went was because I didn't feel like going to school on Tuesdays.
Okay. Why was that? Was that a
Because
bad
then
day?
my parents were out of the house
Mm-hmm.
the whole day because they both worked full-time jobs. So I would like I'd stay home, I'd do my laundry, I'd clean because I had the house
Mm-hmm.
to myself. I would
Oh,
just be.
yeah.
It was quiet, there was no noise, I didn't have to deal with anybody, and I was a
Mm,
teenager, so
right.
like I'd just be. So I was sent into a correctional school twice.
Wow.
And I remember, yeah, the dean of students, I was at a tech school both times that I was sent. The dean of students fucking hated me. And I will tell you why she hated me. I was the one person she never could catch smoking. Except for that one time. She caught me once. But
Right.
we would smoke in the girls' bathroom that was literally adjacent to the cafeteria. All the time. And she would come in and she'd pull everybody out and she'd start searching them. Well, I know there are two places a teacher cannot touch you. So into my panties went my cigarettes and my lighter every fucking time.
Right.
And she
Smart
could
move.
never find them because she could. She touched
Yeah.
anywhere near my waist, I would start screaming stranger danger. Like,
Yeah.
so she hated me. So, yeah, so I went to correctional school.
Right.
And,
How
oh,
was that? That must be. I mean, that's the thing. That's like totally like the opposite of what we're trying to do in education. Basically, what they're saying is like, let's throw everyone that's got a problem. Let's throw them all in the same fucking school. Like that's the direct opposite of how we function as in class today. It's like it's all about mixing them up, mixing the kids around, like diverse grouping, everything. It's like throwing everyone into jail essentially is complete nonsense. It's trash.
yeah, it's awful. And it was awful. It was
So how was
absolutely
your experience in
horrific.
there? I'm really intrigued. I'm really interested to find like how did it go down in there?
It was bad. So here's the funny thing, and I just want to point this out. I was in a correctional school, and above the correctional school was a school. So I was in Case, which I'm not sure exists anymore, and above the correctional school was Reach. Reach was where the kids with mental illnesses and learning disorders went. I was
Right.
never sent there. I was sent to the correctional school. This woman hated me, and um so I witnessed people beating each other's ass.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Uh, Drug deals. Like I had to go through a metal detector every day. They would like check my backpack and stuff like that. And I'm like, the worst thing I'm gonna do is probably write on a wall in Sharpie. Like I don't. And I'm in here with like people who've stabbed their teachers, drug dealers, like all sorts of fun people.
Yeah.
There was one very like suburban looking white girl who was there, and I never asked her why because she looked so sweet, and I never wanted to know. Never wanted to know. I had made that like I had 100% made the distinction the first day I was there. Was like I
Mm.
don't know why you're here because you don't look like you belong here, but I don't want to know because I might be terrified. Like she might be like, yeah, I skinned cats or something like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm staying the fuck away from you.
Or maybe she was just in there for smoking as well. I mean, that's that. You know,
Yeah.
that's that. It's like in the '80s. That's what we did. I started smoking when I was 12 years old. You know,
Yeah.
um, um, and that was just part of what we did. People don't understand. We used to smoke on airplanes. We used to smoke on buses because and not illegally. It was legal. You know,
It was
that's
legal,
that's the
100%.
crazy thing.
Restaurants, bars, you could smoke
Restaurants,
anywhere
bars. Yep. And
except
so
for a
yeah,
hospital. That was it. You couldn't smoke in a
yeah,
hospital
yeah,
for obvious
yeah.
reasons.
Um,
But that's it.
but yeah, that's insane. That's just like, you know what? You know what's really going to fix you? Let's put you in the classroom with all the real assholes, when you've done pretty much a misdemeanor, like
Hmm.
that's just bananas. That doesn't make any sense. And
No.
that extends into the kind of correctional facilities of today as well
Oh
in
yeah.
most countries too, It's like people being jailed for fucking smoking a bit of pot, or grass. I mean, I know that's not the case anymore. That's been
Yeah.
lifted, but like it
Well,
wasn't
no.
long ago. What was it? 5 years ago?
Here's the thing, and this is still something that's completely fucked. Is there are people who are still in jail for
Oh yeah.
marijuana,
Mm,
and this is my marijuana. Like, I've got it right here. I legally have it. This is only
yeah.
half of what I've got. Like, I legally have it. I take it every day. I will take it again in an hour and a half. Um,
Right.
but there are people who are still in jail for it because it's federally illegal,
Yeah.
and some states have legalized it to some degree. Pennsylvania, where I live, is still only medical.
Mm,
But they're trying to fight that because Jersey, which we call the armpit of the United States, you can go to Jersey and get weed legally.
right.
And so people are literally screaming, "We're sending our money to Jersey. Just fucking legalize it."
Don't
We
make me
can
go to
fix.
Jersey,
Yeah,
man.
don't make me go to Jersey. And Jersey makes you pay to leave. It was funny. You have to go over bridges to get to Jersey. When you go into Jersey, it's free. When you come out, you have to pay like $2. It might
No,
be more now.
we're holding you hostage.
Yeah, they're holding you hostage. They're like, if you want to leave, you got to pay money. It's like, I will gladly pay to get the fuck out.
I'll pay double. I'll pay triple.
Here's $20. Okay, just let
Yeah.
me go. But but no, yeah, I was in correctional school for a school year.
A whole
Um,
year.
yeah, for a whole school
I thought
year.
maybe just like as a punishment for like a week or something.
Oh
Or
God,
maybe
no! I was there
month.
for a long time.
Mother of
Yeah,
God, that's crazy.
yeah. That's probably also some of my trauma. Um, but yeah, so I went into I remember this specifically because my dad was an alcoholic, Vietnam vet. He died when I was 21, so it's been over 20 years now. And over Christmas break, he tried to kill himself. Took a whole bunch of pills, and had a bunch of heart attacks, a heart attack, bunch of seizures and stuff like that. Was in and out of the hospital, and I went into school, my correctional school, because I had to,
Hmm.
and I told the teacher, my English teacher, Miss Moody, what had happened, and she was like, "Why don't you just stay here with me all day?" And I did. For I guess the rest of the week, I just came into her classroom and I did my work from other classes behind her desk because
Hmm.
it was clear I wasn't functioning.
Hmm.
And at the time, I was the only one who knew that my dad tried to kill himself because I found the suicide notes and I didn't give them to anybody else. I took them because I thought I was protecting my mom at the time.
Wow.
So I took them and I hid them. And, yeah, it was fucking, it was,
How?
go ahead.
So you were 21 when this happened, yeah?
No, I was 15 when that happened.
You're 15 when. Oh
15,
Jesus,
no,
that's
16. It was
that's
16
fucking
when he
heavy.
tried to kill himself. Yeah, it was weird because that tiny ass piece of shit house that my mom still lives in, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I heard this noise, this crack noise, and my room was nothing but drywall, and they had put shelves above my bed, and I heard the crack noise, and I screamed, and then all of the shelves fell on top of me.
Mhm.
So it was like 2 shelves. That's where all my books were. They were not like into the post or anything like that. But they had been there forever. But they crashed on top of me. And we went out into the living. Like my mom runs downstairs to check on me. She helps me get all the books off of me. And we go and we sit in the living room. And as I said, it's like 3:00 in the morning. And my dad is drunk again. So we're just like laughing because at this point, this is the norm for us. Like he's like blackout drunk, and we're just making fun of him because what else are we supposed to do? And
was he at least a good drunk though?
No. He was a great. He was an okay person when he was sober. When he was drunk, he was terrible. So and then like we realized something was wrong. I think he had a seizure at some point, but we had been sitting out there like watching him for like, I don't know, an hour or something like that. And he had a seizure, and they came and they got him and they took him to the hospital. And like and I don't think they ever told her, but I knew he had swallowed a whole bunch of. They put him on Wellbutrin to try to get him to quit smoking. He'd taken a whole bunch of that and drank a shit ton of whatever he was drinking at the time. And like wrote us suicide notes, and I was like,
"Wow,
fuck."
Yeah, that's crazy.
And this is also the man who looked at me at one point, and he looked at me and he was like, "You know what it's like to want to kill yourself, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, and then that was it. That was the whole. And he went back to watching TV. So, and again, I said earlier in the panel, like I knew my dad was fucked. Like before he went to Vietnam, he was screwed up. But Vietnam was a horrific experience.
Yeah, I probably didn't do him any favors. That's for sure.
No, and I've heard stories. I've heard stories that I will never repeat to people because there are some things that people should never know unless they're there, and things that people should never experience. Period. It's so bad to the point where, one, I can't watch any more movies. Period. Even now. And two, I couldn't participate in anything in school that had to do with Vietnam. It was such a trigger for me that I couldn't do it. And it's just, it's so fucked.
Yeah.
It's a fucked situation.
No, absolutely. That's absolute madness. That's just such a crazy, insane time. Yeah, just nothing good has come out of that war at all. Like that was, it has to be just like, I don't know. I mean, obviously I was not there, but it's like, it just sounds like it's just like a trauma dump of everything in that place, like for everybody.
And and a lot of people get like have the one thing that pisses me off the most of everything that surrounds it is that when these people who were forced to go to war came back, did everything and I'm not saying anybody is right. I was literally talking about this with Phoenix. You can be a hero, and you can be a terrible person at the same time. Both of those things can be true. So these people were sent over there, did everything they could to survive, to get back, and then were treated like absolute shit.
Oh, absolutely! Just dropped, just dumped. Thanks for your service. No, fuck you. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking about by the populace. So people, were attacking or throwing things, booing anybody who was in the war because they heard of the terrible things that happened.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you did terrible things while you're over there. You did this and you did that." Never thinking like, "Oh, maybe these people did this shit to survive." They're like, "Oh no, you just did terrible things." And having secondhand information about what happened over there, man, like Karen, you do it. You can do it. You see what
here's an AK-47 or an M16 or whatever it was. You know, you go and do it. Yeah. But it's,
You
it's
do
that
that.
as well. It's like it's backed up by like scientific data and evidence. Like there's been lots of experiments with like people being, given orders, told what to do. I mean, hey, World War II, hello,
Yeah.
um, just following orders. It's like that combined with the fact that, yeah, the like survival, jungle warfare. Like, I mean, let's be fair as well. The Vietnamese were fucking scary, man. They were doing some crazy shit to America too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's insane. Um, but yeah, the suicide thing is yeah. I I had not a similar experience, but yeah, I remember being woken up at I don't know what time it was, 4 a.m. My dad's like, get dressed because he didn't want to leave me behind. We're driving my mother to the hospital to get her stomach pumped. And I remember being in the back seat. I must have been fucking 8 or 9 years old. And I just remember my dad driving this fucking Jeep down the highway at like 100 miles an hour, turning over and just like slap her, like keep her awake. If she falls asleep, she's gonna die, just like out of his mind, panic mode.
Yeah.
And um I'll never forget that. I will never. I remember the fucking car. I remember everything about that. And then my dad did it as well. Like he had enough, but it was kind of like a fake attempt, I guess. But again, it's like, oh, I'm just like I'm like I'm the only one there. I'm an only child. I don't have a brother or sister or fucking anyone in the house to help me. Like, how do I deal with this? So it's like my dad, like the one rock that I have to cling on to in the house, and now he's gone nuts as well.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And me too. I've had one attempt. But honestly, I have a scar to prove it. But I fucking I pussied out because I'm terrified. I'm terrified of dying. So I don't know what possessed me. But it's like that's the thing. It's like you do things in moments of madness. Like my friend, one of my best friends ever, killed himself when I was in Korea. And I've spoken about this on my chat before. Um, he dropped his kid when he was when his kid was like, I don't know, a newborn baby, and there's an accident. At least this, I think so. I mean, the guy's a great guy. He was an awesome guy. But he
Babies
went
are
into the
so
hospital.
wiggly.
Yeah,
Babies are
yeah, they are.
wiggly.
But they went to the hospital. The baby's fine now, and all grown up. This was like 16 years ago. Um, but the doctor was like, obviously it's like, hey, what's going on? Like, is this a case for social services? Do we have to get involved? And so they grilled him and supposedly made him feel really
Guilty.
weird and on edge, and he freaked out, and he just told his wife, "I'm going to the shop. I'm going to get some medicine. I've got a headache." He went in fucking into the forest out behind the hospital and hung himself. Like
Jesus.
just a moment of fucking where your brain just clicks off and you do something stupid that if you just take it, but you can't think about it because your brain is so clouded. It's like that fog. Just it's it's insane. I mean, he was 30 fucking, yeah, 31 years old. Um, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's guilty. Maybe he did something. Maybe he took it to the grave. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I've got no idea. But I don't think so. He was a fucking awesome human being. He would give you the fucking clothes off his back. But yeah, it's I don't know. Suicide, like I said, the cosmic lottery has been won, folks. And you know, you gotta see it through to the end. Don't give up and do stupid shit with your life.
Yeah. I had a couple of attempts, and I tell people all the time I'm so fucking happy that I failed because here I am doing amazing things,
Yeah.
um, helping other people, with my husband and my daughter, which I wouldn't have if I weren't here.
Mm.
Um, but at the same time, like shit, like things happen to your brain, like
Yeah.
because of the way that we grew up, our brains are wired differently. Our brains are wired to survive, so we don't do things like everybody's brain is wired differently. Like, there's no such thing as normal. That's not how it works. I think neurotypical is a shrinking term. But you know, there are things that like I will jump if I think I see something in the corner of my eye.
Mhm.
If because it's hypervigilance. It'll tear you up. Like, that's just
Yeah.
the way it is. So your brain, this salty meat bag that controls every part of you,
Yeah.
you know, it obsesses. Things happen. Things get worse, or there's nobody there to help you or tell you differently.
Yeah. And that's the problem of being different and being, I mean, and not like me or you, we're all different. And so it's like we're all like, maybe, you know, if your brain is full of like chemicals A, B, C, D, and E, it's like we all have different levels of each one. You're like, no, it's like a fingerprint. Your brain is basically a chemical fingerprint, you know? It's like, that's why we've talked about this before on your channel, like finding the right medication. You know, it's like you take one, you're like, whoa, no, 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 that's not for me. But this works for other people who have the same thing. No, I can't take this. Try this. Oh, this is much better. You know, it's like finding that kind of balance, you know?
What's funny is I am now on Wellbutrin, so I'm taking the drug my dad used to try and kill himself with. I take it for focus and to help with like sexual side effects of my other medications. Because I'm on so many. I'm so many drugs. But like, you never, like, I get 100%. You never know. One thing's gonna work for somebody. I'm on Lexapro. Lexapro doesn't work for everybody. I even did a genetic testing to see what medications may or may not work for me. And that right there says it. Like, genetics, everything's different. Everything's weird. It's the same. Like, I need my ADHD medication the same as, you know, somebody else needs their insulin. I lack a chemical. That chemical is my brain standing still.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that the problem is that the whole, and me too, as a normie, whatever, you know, it's like you know, people have this preconception of like, oh, ADHD, it's just people that can't calm down. It's like, just deal with it. You know, shut the fuck up. You just focus on it. It's not like that. It's not until you actually have firsthand evidence, or when you see it, it's like then you understand, you know. It's like talking about like what we're doing now, like talking about shit and understanding brings like compassion and like a deeper meaning to things, you know. It's like, and so it's like you see a lot of people in like especially in education where they're like, some people still, even to this day, they still don't even believe that ADHD exists. And it's like, well, how about this? You know, how about medicine has advanced a lot, and now people probably had this forever, but now we know how to diagnose stuff, and people are more open about coming forward about this kind of stuff. There's so many factors, but like these old dinosaurs are like, no, in my day, you just shut up and got
You
on
just
with it.
smack a kid and they'll pay attention. Yeah.
You know, it's the weirdest thing. So it's like, you know, but even for me, it's like, you know, going through teaching is like, I'm starting to realize, like, you know, kids need, you know, things to fiddle with. You know, it's like kids need like, not all kids, some kids. You know, it's like, and it doesn't detract from the class. You know, it's like, as long as you have a handle on things, and you're attentive and keep people on task, and you know, and don't make them feel shitty. You know, it's like, because I remember when I was a kid, you know, if my teacher said something like, "Oh, come on, Darren, for fuck's sake, what are you doing?" You know, it's like, "Oh, I retreat." You know, it's like I go in and then I become this different person. It's like all it takes is good management skills, good class management. That's what education is all about nowadays. It's like teachers are now beginning to take a step back from their classes and just be like, "I'm just here to watch you guys." You know,
Yeah.
you guys go ahead and go for it. Here's the task. If you need my help, I'm here. But if you don't, go ahead, get on with it. And then when you're done, give it to me and I'll check it. And
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too. I mean, I tell anybody who will listen to me how fucked and archaic our education system is,
Mm,
and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And why? Because this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, but it doesn't work with the kids, the kids who have ADHD, autistic, bipolar, emotional support. There's so many different things that and people are like, oh, all these different things, but the line is, it doesn't matter what you're diagnosed with or what your brain's doing. Not everybody can learn things the same way. And you don't have to be neurodivergent to learn differently. It's just, we're not from a factory line. We're not all made the same. So seeing teachers be like, you know what, let me figure out how my students need to be taught. But at the same time, we also know that, I don't know what it's like everywhere else in the United States. We have 10 students to each teacher, so, or more.
More probably,
Teachers are overworked and underpaid, and nobody's helping them, and it's utter horseshit everywhere.
Yeah, it's teachers, like people are like, oh man, you get like two months off a year paid vacation. Like, your job's easy as shit. It's like, not really. And also, all those notebooks and fucking books and pencils and shit, that's coming out of my salary. I buy that shit, I mean, I'm running my own business now. I do my own classes now, so I don't work in a school anymore. But in the past, all of that shit came out of my own pocket. It's like teachers, and it's not any different in the States. All that special, nice shit that your kids are getting, it's all coming out of their teachers' pockets.
Yep.
Sure enough, there's probably a bunch of asshole teachers too. Don't get me wrong, but but I think the other thing is about the whole why they can't understand the ADHD thing is it's because of the media and how they,
Oh yeah.
how they talk about it. Because if you watch the news, you'd think that every class if you've got 20 kids in a class, then 17 of them have ADHD, and that's simply not the case at all.
No. And then people are like, oh well, people with like ADHD is still a joke. Oh, it's your ADHD, or oh, I've got a little ADHD. It's not. It's debilitating. It's a horrific mental illness that people don't give credit to. And people are like, oh yeah, no, it's just you just can't focus, or you just can't pay attention. No, it's I can't clean my bedroom because my brain can't pick a place to start, and I don't understand how it's supposed to look when it's done. Like, I can't picture stuff like that. Or it's like me sitting here playing a video game and my brain is screaming, you don't have any clean underwear, we need to do laundry.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting up and doing it because that part of my brain is disconnected. That's called the executive function, and I don't have it. I don't have executive function. So that's why if I'm on medication, my house is still trashed. My house is so much cleaner than it was, though. I have thrown so much stuff out, and it, like I tell people all the time, like it's not a joke, and I'm not lazy. I want to do these things, but I can't. And like I don't know how to explain it to somebody. Like, what do you mean you can't? I can't. My brain won't let me. My brain wants me to, but won't let.
Yeah. And the thing is, here's the thing as well. At the end of the day, if you as an adult want to get a doctor to prescribe you medication to help you live a better life, then everyone else can fuck off. Like, it's none of their business. It's the same with pronouns. Like, I don't give a fuck what pronouns you use. It's your life. You go ahead and whatever you want, That's not my business. And so, like that's it. Just everyone just needs to stop interfering with other people's business.
Yeah, stop interjecting your shit into other people's lives.
It's like, I don't believe you. It's like, I don't believe you. You don't need to take that medication. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
This is between me and my doctor. It has nothing to do with you are not a third person in this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I know I drink too much sauce, way too much, but it's like, I'm not violent. I'm not my mother, but But the day that I start turning into her, when my wife says, "Darren, you're turning into your mother," it's like, okay, that's when this shit goes out the window. But it's like this is my medication, you know. This is what I like to do. It calms me down, and it grounds me, you know. And so, yeah, it's not
Shut your
good.
brain
I
off.
know. I know, and yeah, and without it, yeah, that's a conversation for another time. But yeah, I can't sleep. I've got one of those brains that just does not shut the fuck up. When I go to bed, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I'll be up all night thinking just stupid shit, dumb shit, constantly.
100%
Um,
cheers to significant others who would be like, you're turning into your parents. And thanks, I'm going to dial it back a little bit. Dial it back.
yeah,
100%. So, but I am very happy that you are part of my family, Darren. You are amazing.
you're too.
Everybody in chat thinks you're amazing too. I think you got a whole bunch of new followers.
Oh, nice. That's totally why I did this to
Oh
get
yeah, you
all the.
totally. We didn't want to talk to people and educate them about terrible things. We wanted followers. Yes, Goat. He is amazing. He is
Hey, goat,
amazing.
how's it going, man? But yeah,
So,
but yeah, Meowie said something earlier. Is like she said something so sweet. She said if Nikolai didn't come into my life when he did, she wouldn't be here, and she's forever grateful for that. That's awesome.
when I tell my
Meowie is
husband,
awesome.
I told my husband all the time. I'm like, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. And he's like, oh, don't say that. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not fucking with you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't be here
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, absolutely.
So, falling asleep is one. Yes, Cosmic. Yes, falling asleep. I take three medications and drink tea to force me to go to sleep on top of my weed. So, but tell all these beautiful people, they can't actually. No, you live in Korea, so they can't follow you anywhere really.
No, they can follow me, but they can't subscribe.
So
So
you
there's
can't
no money.
subscribe.
I've just been demonetized. You can still follow, but there's no
I
monetization.
like I'm just waiting for the day where like I just try to go to your channel and like Twitch is like, nah, fuck Korea. I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm terrified. I'm like, just let's just hope that doesn't happen because I
It's
don't want to have to watch you on Kick. That would break my heart.
404. This page
For,
doesn't exist.
but definitely follow Darren on Twitch. He has a Discord. If you
Got a
message me,
Discord.
I am happy
Thank you,
that
Nikolai, for making
Nikolai
that. And
Nikolai
Yelish.
made up that I'm apparently a mod in. I didn't realize that. Thank you, Nikolai. Uh, if you wanna go into his Discord where with his amazing community, just send me a message and I will send you a link. And we'll give him another shout out. But thank you so much, Darren, for this conversation. I can't wait to have another real conversation.
Honestly, it was great. I could do this for another 2 hours, to be honest. It's been
I,
awesome.
I definitely could too. Unfortunately, I scheduled things for the rest of the day, so we're gonna call it a night,
Yep.
and well, morning for you and afternoon for me.
3 a.m. for me.
Oh,
Cheers.
yay! And we're gonna get ready to learn some stuff about Sherlock. So I love you all, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.